I think not only will Vickie and I benefit from a few rounds of deep breaths, but everybody could at this point. So let's just close our eyes for a moment. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe place one hand on your belly, your right hand on your belly, and then as you inhale, breathe into that hand. Feel that expansion. The whole purpose here is to get the breath into the lower lungs. And then exhale, let it go, either the mouth or the nose, whichever one feels more natural, more calming. And we'll just take two more. Inhale. And exhale. And this last one at your pace, just make sure you get the breath all the way in nice and deep. Fill up the lungs, bottom to top. And then let it go. Perfect. All right, well, welcome, Vickie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Delighted to be here.
My pleasure. So the way that I like to do this is I like to briefly introduce myself and then introduce my guest, and then have my guest talk more about what it is they're currently doing and why they're here. And then we just kind of go into it, you know, and obviously you're here because I want to share your experience and your work with the world. So that's what we're going to talk about. And as questions come up on my end, I will ask them, and I'll also let everybody know that you can send in any questions you have at any time, and I'll save room at the end of this to go through them. So feel free to send in any questions for Vickie. So my guest today is Vickie Martina. We know each other from Nurture. We are both members of Nurture, which is a well-care marketplace in Denver. It's Denver's newest, greatest thing. And she practices out of there, and I do my coaching out of there as well. And it's just a wonderful community of healers of all types. So Vickie is a Reiki master teacher. She also is has her Masters of Social Work, and she's an intuitive energy healer. So I've worked with Vickie personally. And so most of my guests here, 80% of them, 90% of my guests so far, I've had personal experience with, having them, you know, I've just hired them for their different expertise or their healing abilities, all that kind of stuff. So that's why she's here. I feel like she's incredibly powerful as a healer. Also, she leads moon circles. She does work with the Divine Feminine, which we'll go more into all of that. Work with the Sacred Sisterhood, Wise Woman Wellness. She'll go into all of this. I have attended one of her moon circles at Nurture, which is a beautiful sort of ceremony. It was all women, but I don't think it has to be all women. For sure, I'm not sure. You can tell us more about that. And I've had her do energy work on me, and also her work as a social worker and counselor clearly comes through in her work as a healer as well. I mean, you discuss things, and you know, she really taps into where you're at and what you need in any given session. So that being said, I want to introduce at this time in all of our lives. I mean, I would do this anyway, but right now the pandemic makes everything even more heightened as far as like us needing resources for healing and for support and for nurturing. And so that's why I want to introduce Vickie to everybody, so that you know that there's this amazing resource out there, which is Reiki and which is community. So that is what this is all about today. So Vickie, would you like to tell us, you know, I kind of just washed over all of that. Would you like to, you know, talk more in detail about the work that you do?
Sure. That was a very wonderful introduction. Thank you. Covered a lot. So I've been practicing Reiki as a master teacher for 10 years. Reiki is much more prevalent now than it was then. More and more people want to receive sessions and learn how to be Reiki practitioners themselves. And so in addition to the Reiki, like you said, I also am a counselor as a clinical, medical, social worker in the community. And now I have transformed that into a holistic social worker in my practice, looking at the whole person, body, mind, spirit, and heart. So with the Reiki as the spiritual and the counseling and social work as the practical, I bring those two together in a session. And then with my intuition, the healing energy work, the Reiki energy that comes through, I also am trained in other modalities. I do healing touch. I use crystal energy healing and shamanic practice, to name a few. So every session is different. And as people continue to do the work gets deeper. And once people start on their Reiki journey and their healing journey, it's a very transformative alchemical process. So yes, and so I teach Reiki. I teach all levels of Reiki, which would be level 1 and 2 practitioner. Level 3 is Reiki master, and the last level is the teacher level for people that want to become teachers.
Okay, well, before you go into the other areas of your work, will you, we talk about Reiki, what it is, where it's come from, and what a session is like, you know, just whatever you want to share about it. A lot of people don't know what it is.
Okay. So Reiki is an ancient Japanese technique for energy healing. Reiki is the only modality where the student that's going to become a practitioner receives an attunement. So there's a lineage of Reiki practitioners, Reiki masters that are above each student. And so the original Usui Tibetan Reiki that I do was founded by Dr. Usui in Japan, and he had gone on a vision quest up the mountain for 21 days, and he received the Reiki energy and he received the symbols, and then he brought it back to Japan, back to Tokyo, and started a school there and started teaching there.
What do you mean he received the symbols?
So on his vision quest, he was asking and praying to receive a healing energy, and he did. On the last day, on the 21st day, he received them intuitively.
Okay.
And that's how that started. And then there was a few years later, another woman who lived in Hawaii, who was also of Japanese descent. Her name is Mrs. Takata. And she had to leave Hawaii and go to Japan because she needed to have surgery. She wasn't well. And she ended up going to Dr. Usui's institute, very skeptical, and she was healed there without having to have the surgery that she needed. And so she then became a Reiki master and took that back to Hawaii, which is, from there it became into the mainland in America and into Europe.
So it came from Japan to Hawaii to here.
Yeah. So that's that back history and foundation of that.
Okay.
There's many healing energies, universal healing energies on the planet. This is just one of them. They're available to us.
What are some others, just so I have like a comparison
So
in my mind?
you may have heard of like Mahatma energy is one of them.
Okay.
Ilahinor is another one, ancient Turkish Egyptian energy. So they're just different frequencies, still healing energy.
Okay. Okay. And then, so yeah, tell us more about what it actually kind of is, how you work with it, that kind of stuff.
Right. So there are Reiki symbols, and they come in at each level when you're learning, but they're power symbols, and they're kanji. So there's a frequency, just like there is in letters and numbers in the kanji or in art. So we learn what those symbols are, we use them too. And as we receive the energy as the conduits in the vessel, the energy comes through us onto either the people that we're working on. I do animal Reiki, plants, anything with a consciousness can receive the energy. So during a session, you're laying on a table like a massage table, you're fully clothed. And first we talk a little bit about what's up for you for healing, anything that you want to release. As we manifest into our physical body, things that have already come through our energy field, and then by the time they come in our physical body, they need to be addressed because our body's calling for attention. And so I do an intake questionnaire about all parts of your life, your work, your relationship, your spiritual life. And this is the holistic therapy piece of it that I do. And then as we talk about it and what it is and what is your intention for healing, and then I use also essential oils and shamanic practice and crystals during the session and any intuitive guidance that I get. I also use oracle cards in my sessions for some more divine information for divination. So, and every session's different, and every session can get deeper depending on your intention for healing. And so after the session, you're still integrating the energy for a couple days, up to 10 days. It just isn't over when the session's over. And so what happens with the Reiki energy is that it comes through and gives your whole system a new set of instructions from a higher frequency. And then the lower frequencies that you're carrying in your system and all your bodies are released. And so that process is your own body process, and that can come through in different ways. It can be sweating, crying, sleeping, going to the bathroom. And so that's a process you have to allow after a Reiki session until your body is at its new frequency.
So let me repeat back some of this. So in the way that you're trained to work, when you have a session, somehow you, through your healing techniques, bring in a more positive, higher frequency vibration into your client, patient, who, I'm not sure how you refer to them, and then the lower ones at that time kind of just move on out.
And the process that the body does, right? So Reiki practitioners are conduits for the energy.
Okay.
Right? And so we receive the energy and send it forward.
Okay. And okay. What else do you want to say about that? I just know, I'm picturing myself back in your room, and I just know that it's one of those things that, you know, it's hard for anybody to fully digest and understand exactly what energy work is and how it works, you know, especially if you're not a practitioner yourself and you haven't like learned those techniques and everything. But intuitively, I know that there's shifts. I know that I've had incredible work with energy healers, and obviously you all wouldn't exist and continue to have people coming to you if there were not effects.
Yes. So we're working with the chakra system also.
Okay.
We're working with the energy field. And so it is hands-on healing, but we don't actually have to touch people if they're uncomfortable with touch. And also we learn how to do distance healing where we send the energy. So our bodies and our energy field picks up energy, and we can get blocks in our chakras from past experience, from trauma, from scars. And then we can pick up negative energy or other people's energy. And so Reiki clears all of that. The energy itself, it has a wisdom of its own. And so we're trained to feel, we can feel information, we can feel differences in energy fields when we're working on people. So for example, inflammation, of course, feels like heat or pain, but you can actually feel that. Like if I have a headache, I might be able to start like feeling this pain from this headache in my field before it's even in, you know, to my physical head.
You could personally, or as an energy healer? Like
as an energy healer, right.
Okay, got it. So when somebody comes in to see you, then, so just go through that a little bit again. They get on your massage table and you might put some stones out. You might have some aromatherapy. I think I remember you had like a drum. I had my eyes closed the whole time. I think you talked a little bit to me.
So in the shamanic practice, we're rattling. So we're breaking up the energy. We call them Klingons that are in the field. We'll break up that energy. The same thing you can do at home. Like again, if you have an headache, if you're rattling that field, that's helping to break up that congested energy.
Okay.
So the drumming also, our bodies respond very much. Our brain responds to drumming. We can get into that calmer state of things from the drum. We get connected to the earth. We get connected to the cosmos through the drumming. So it's a very centering. And then the drum beat itself clears energy.
No wonder I like drum beats so much when I teach yoga.
Yes.
It's pretty much, you know, my my sound of choice, especially when I was teaching more kind of more active classes. I teach a lot of very mellow stuff now, so I play more like Native American flute and
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, and nature sounds sometimes. But the drums, yeah, that makes sense then, that's what it's doing, is breaking it up. And then how, so people can see you, I'm sure it's like, once a week, once a month, like I'm sure it just varies depending on what they can and want to do, right?
that's right. I like to give it about 10 days for the integration process in between, unless there's something really acute going on. And then obviously you can get it more. Also, before surgery and after surgery, we can help with that, getting prepared for the surgery, clearing
Ooh.
anesthesia out of your body. In addition to the healing, then the Reiki will help with the healing after a surgery, for example. And I see newborns all the way up through people that are at end of life transition.
Wow, that's amazing. How is it to be with a newborn?
Oh, they have such a powerful little energy field. It's amazing.
I bet just like all those colors are like super bright, like a little rainbow.
It's beautiful.
Um, okay, well, let's talk more about some of the other, some of your other gifts and offerings. What do you want to talk about first? You do the moon circles, you do work with the divine feminine. What would you like to talk about next?
Right. So my work with the divine feminine has been my own personal journey of healing as a woman. And so I have created empowerment pathways for women to heal. And so that includes moon circles and goddess wisdom classes, and wise woman wellness, getting back to intuitively our wise woman intuition on healing and nurturing the natural way. And so divine feminine healing, what has happened on our planet and in our cultures for thousands of years is the imbalance that's been caused by the male-dominated societies and cultures. The overarching masculine energies has caused this imbalance without the mother energies or the goddess energies to balance it. In ancient times, yin and yang was very much valued, and there was balance in the cultures. In the past 2,000 years especially, there's been a lot of aggression. And so women all over the planet are healing, and the goddess culture is in all around the world. Traditions of the goddess very much alive and well. And in our country, the closest thing we have is Mother Mary. And so we would say Mother Mary in the West, and then a very well-known goddess is Kuan Yin in the Asian cultures. And those are the similar energies of love and compassion, gentleness, nurturing, inclusion. So the goddess is rising, coming back in modern times. Women are stepping back into their power. And so what we need to do personally as women, and this is where I start in my Dance with the Divine Feminine, that's my healing program for women, is that we have to look at your belief systems and how you've been programmed or conditioned starting when you were a child. So that's the first phase. And then you're looking at that and getting some insight into your family beliefs, ancestral patterns, any function or dysfunction, to look at all of that. And subconsciously, we bring that forward until we know better. So it's an unraveling and an untaming. And so as we're working through that piece, that's where we start. And then moon rituals, when we realize what it is that's held in your body system, what's subconscious, we bring it into awareness. Your moon rituals to release that which you intend to release from your past, so you can step into your authentic self and be your authentic self, and you get in touch with your inner goddess and all the goddess energies in support of the eternal mother that's available to us universally. And then there's a couple meditations to work through that, and introduction into the goddesses. And it's a wonderful healing path, very empowering. And I see clients and I see women, you know, in our culture, people are depressed, they have anxiety, they have insomnia, they're exhausted, because that's how our culture is.
Mm-hmm.
And for women, we are taught at a young age that we have to take care of everyone else, and if there's any time and energy for ourselves, then we can take care of ourselves. And this is where the transformation comes in and the balance comes back. And so my moon circles, I started this in Fort Collins with my partner Nancy Ogren, and she is an astrologer there. And so we do new and full moon circles, gatherings for women around the energies of the moon. Women are in alignment with the moon, always have been, just like our cycles are with the moon. And depending on the astrological influences at the time of the new moon and the full moon, that's what we focus on. And then I also, as a therapist, bring in therapy questions for what do we need to look at, what needs healing, what is on the shadow side of things or the subconscious side of things, what old patterns do we need to release. And it's a process. Healing is always a process. And we come together at those moon circles actually as a sacred sisterhood, so it is for women.
Okay.
And sacred sisterhood is an ancient practice. Women would always sit together. And so there we do that. We make friendships. We have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of insight and enlightenment. And there's no subject for women that is off the table when we gather. We can talk about anything and everything. So also at Moon Circles, we do use oracle cards. They're my favorite thing as far as easy divination to receive messages. And we do ritual, and we do Reiki. We do a little energy healing sometimes. And the triple goddess expresses in the world as it's also the three phases of the moon. So it's maiden, mother, and crone are the three phases, sacred phases of a woman's life. So the maiden as independent, strong, mother, which doesn't have to be a mother of children. It's whatever it is that you're nurturing through your life. Mm-hmm. The prime of your life as mother. And then the crone or grandmother is the wise woman, that now we've become wise because of what we've learned through our lifetime, and demand a little more respect at that point. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's all of the goddesses from the cultures, different cultures, is what we bring forward in the moon circles also for education. And you know, there's many women that have come and said, I didn't know this, and I'm so happy to know this. Mm-hmm. Just the whole goddess energy path that's been missing for over 2,000 years.
I fully agree with all of that. And I feel like I almost feel like there's still such a wall, you know, an energetic wall within me and within our culture that, like, I know, like, a part of me for sure, my heart, wherever it is, knows that this is really, really important work to do. Like, and this shouldn't be like oh, maybe I'll go do this one thing, you know, to, you know, there's this cool thing happening. Maybe I'll go do that this month or something. More like, it just seems really important that just to remember that these rituals used to be super, 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 super strong and like just part of the culture. No, you know, it was so part of it. It wasn't, you know, it's just what women of, you know, you've got the maiden, you've got the mother, the crows, they all come together, and it's baffling to me that we've come so far and we've lost so much. It's really interesting that the whole yin and yang dynamic has gotten so off. Like, it just makes sense that, like, that should always be like the checkpoint within any system. within any system that's developing anywhere, whether it's a family system, a school system, a political system, you know, system within your friends, you should always check, you know, where is their imbalance?
Right.
You know, and we haven't.
The suppression and the oppression of that through the years. And again, so then that comes forward through families. This is the role of the women. And then we're informed by society about who we are to be, and we're rewarded for that.
Right. Rather than having it be like a communal sort of like empowering sort of position that we could all be in and play roles. It's more of like this whole external sort of conditioning and all of that.
Right.
Wow. So you've been, how long have you been doing, you know, the moon circles and community like that?
So I've been doing it in Fort Collins for 3 years with my partner Nancy, and then when I started at Nurture, we started doing moon circles here, new and full moon circles, and now because of COVID, they're on hold.
Got it. So your partner Nancy, I don't know if was she there at the last one that I was there? Did she do the calendars?
She does the Moonways journals, yes.
Oh, the journals. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Is there anything that you are planning on doing while we're kind of in lockdown right now a little bit, or, you know, moon circle wise?
Well, I do the moon circles on Zoom in Fort Collins, so I can possibly do it that way here too.
Got it.
And also, I'm probably going to also be doing, I teach a crystal class. I'm going to do that on Zoom. I teach a how to ground and protect your energy class, so I'm going to do that.
Tell me about those. What are those two classes like?
Okay, so the crystal class is an introduction to working with crystals, how to use them in your life. And it's just a really basic class about how crystals are formed, and crystals have everything in the universe is made out of the components of crystals also. And so when we take them out of the earth grid, they also have their own consciousness. And so what we see with our 3D eyes is physically what we see with the crystals, but they're still connected to the earth grid. So there's different frequencies. The darker crystals are more grounding for us. And then as the frequency raises, like clear quartz and amethyst are really high vibration. So we really need help grounding, especially if you're a sensitive person, because once we get spun out, it's hard to come back. Mm-hmm. So when you're using the darker crystals like hematite or black tourmaline in your pockets, or you're carrying them with you, that's helping to keep you grounded. And so also another really easy way for healing is to just match the crystal with the color of the chakra that you're working with. And then like in your home, if you want to do a grid, it's really easy to put rose quartz and hematite in corners, because energy sticks in corners. And then the rose quartz is sending out love and the hematite's protecting. So you're setting up a grid with each corner in your home, in a room, and or under your bed or the pet bed. Rose quartz is wonderful, very soothing for children and pets and elderly people with dementia.
Wow, I've never really thought about that. Like where exactly to put them and what they're kind of casting out. Like this, they kind of literally cast out like energy lines to form the grid. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. So scientists can tell that two crystals went together. One is sending energy and one is receiving, but they still can't tell which one. But they can measure that frequency.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So crystal, rose quartz sends out, it's like a love and compassion type energy.
Right.
And then you said hematite and the other one for grounding. Is that what it was?
Yes, grounding and protection. Mm-hmm.
I've got Labradorite.
Yes, wonderful. Master healer.
Master healer. Where should I put that one?
Anywhere you want to. On yourself for one thing, but you can have it with you, like when you're working.
It's big. It's a big piece.
Yep. Put it on your desk. Put it on your nightstand when you go to bed. It's with you.
What is that one? That's the healing one?
Labradorite. Really good for meditation.
Meditation. I'll tell you one. I want to hear a story? The sun is coming at me. I got to pull this back. I have I have it right here. So this is a piece of amethyst that I brought back with me from Oregon. I lived in Ashland, Oregon for a couple months one summer. And I stayed in this trailer that the woman, and I worked on a farm, and the woman who stayed in the trailer before me was out there healing from cancer treatment, something along those lines. I don't know the details, but she gathered and left a bunch of amethysts in the trailer. So like, I don't know, there's probably like 10 pieces like this around the trailer. And when I left, I took one with me. And, you know, I've learned over the years that you should occasionally, you know, cleanse your crystals in either, you know, little water with vinegar or in the sun or in the moon. That's what I knew so far. So I figured I'd been back for like a year, and I was like, it's probably time for me to cleanse this crystal. So I grabbed this bowl, this glass bowl, and I was going to put the crystal in, and then I was going to put water and a little vinegar in there. And before I hit the bowl, like I got this in like this, and the bowl exploded all over the kitchen floor. Like I couldn't even comprehend what had just happened. It was just so startling. And I was like, holy shit, that is one powerful crystal.
A little bit of magic there, right?
Yeah.
So I have not heard of vinegar ever for crystals.
Okay, well then great. Yeah, school me on that for sure.
Yeah. So that may have been why.
Well, there was no vinegar yet. I didn't put in, there was nothing in the bowl yet.
Okay. So I don't know about vinegar. It's usually salt.
Mm-hmm.
Salt, just like when we take an Epsom salt bath, clears our energy, but doesn't need a lot of salt. So just rinse them in salt. Okay. And then to charge them up is the sun and the moon is where they receive the energy to charge them.
Okay.
So you can also smudge them to clear them.
Oh, okay.
You know, just like we smudge ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they do need to be charged. And you'll notice sometimes when you charge crystals that they're a little brighter than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some crystals like the endonite, like selenite, water's not good for them because they're already a salt derivative, and that will just break it down. Ah. And when you put crystals, and if you put them in a window versus outside, you have to be careful because of the sun. It's too much, and some of them will fade. It will fade their color, be too hot. Okay.
So don't put them in the window?
If you do, don't prolong them.
Okay, yeah. Just do a charge and then take them off.
Right. Because like a full moon, and then a day of the sun is like a 24-hour. That's what I like to do.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds like a good plan. And what about you said you were going to teach a class on grounding your energy also?
Protecting your energy field. That's right.
And so that will be like what?
So there's different techniques for doing that. You know, protecting your energy, sending down a grounding cord to the earth every morning when you start your day. And during the daytime, if you need to reground, so you're thinking grounded, magnet to the earth, you got your crystals in your pocket. And then any kind of protection that you want to visualize around yourself is really helpful. And that can be like a mist or like a moving rainbow of light. It can be like a cloak. Sometimes when I'm going in the store, if it's really crowded, I like to visualize a cloak around me with my hood on. Like I can see out, but people can't really see me. Mm-hmm. Anything that makes you feel protected. Mm-hmm. You can call in animal spirit allies to be with you in the daytime. And how to clear your energy from other people, how not to pick it up. And so the class goes into all of that, tools and allies for helping you protect your energy. Wow, those sound both like really great classes. How will we know about that? Like if somebody's this is your first introduction to somebody right now watching this, how will they find out about these classes? So I post them on my Facebook page and on Instagram and on Eventbrite. Okay, good. And that's under Mosaic Moon Reiki. Perfect. You think you'll have those coming up, in early 2021? Yes, I will. Yes. Okay, awesome. And then they'll just be a couple hours over Zoom? Yeah, a couple hours over Zoom, $25. I like to keep it so people can afford it. Mm-hmm. And
And then where do, like, do you send people, just a few of your favorite places to go get crystals?
Yeah, that's kind of hard right now. So I've gotten a lot of my crystals at holistic fairs,
Oh, okay.
which, you know, aren't really happening very much. One of my favorite places is Awesome Universe, and that's a mother and daughter. They travel to fairs. They live in Aurora, and they've set up a store in their garage, but I don't know if they're seeing people right now. But local stores here, you know, you'll find the one that you like better than other ones, but they carry a lot of tumblestones, but physical bookstores carry them sometimes. And
Okay.
online, some people buy online. I like to actually see them and feel them.
Yeah. What, I wonder, like, what do you suggest? I'm sure that I could just wear them. I'm not a huge, I don't wear a ton of, I don't like wearing bracelets. I do wear earrings. I wear one necklace. I used to wear a lot more rings, but I never really I rarely wear clothes with pockets. And if I always want to have something on me, what do you recommend for that?
So we put crystals in our bras.
I don't wear a bra.
Okay.
I think I need to get like a little, like a crystal something, like just wonder if they exist. If there's just like somebody's made like a little thing that like goes under your clothes that
There is. So I've seen it
there
before.
is.
It's just like a little pocket with a drawstring, and with the string you could like wear it around your waist.
Okay.
Between that or wherever you want, right? If you don't have pockets, it's really hard if you don't have pockets. Because I get used to having pockets all the times with my crystals, and when I don't, I can really feel the difference.
Yeah.
But I do wear jewelry too, and I especially really like to have a pendant in your throat
Hmm.
chakra for communication in your heart chakra.
Hmm.
And a lot
Right.
of times, some of the bracelets also can be made out of the darker crystals, like stones like hematite that can ground you from wearing the bracelet, or an ankle bracelet.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna look into finding one of those little drawstrings, something or others that I can wear around my waist.
Yeah, you can make one. It's pretty easy.
Could make one. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go on and look at that. Um, okay. So currently, so you're working. Tell us about where you're at. I mean, I mentioned Nurture earlier. Is this the only place you're working out of right now? Is Nurture?
It is the only place right now. And I
Okay.
go to Fort Collins also. I still see clients in Fort Collins because I've just been in Denver for a little over a year.
Got it. Do you so do you have a space in Fort Collins too, or do you go to
I do.
people's homes?
I have a space in
Oh.
Fort Collins, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I will tell you all that her space here in Denver is so beautiful. It's just, it smells good. It's bright. It's light. It's white. There's just white everywhere. And you just walk in and I mean, oh, and I haven't even, those of you who don't know me, I'm a recovery and life transition coach and lifestyle consultant. So I basically kind of come in. I can definitely work with people when they're going through a lot of deep trauma too, but I'm not a therapist. So if that is where somebody is at with any major life transition, then I generally make sure they have a therapist that they're working with to process all of that. And I'm more of the action-based support. So when somebody's, ready to make more active changes in their lives and they're ready to, kind of embark on their new chapter and their new journey, it can be really overwhelming. There can be a lot of decisions that have to be made, a lot of lifestyle changes that they're all so great and they sound wonderful, but you're like, how in the hell do I do all of these new different things now? Like it could be so dramatically different. Like if somebody's coming off of, substance abuse or addiction, their whole like social world, there's so many things, what they do for fun, who they hang out with, what they do for exercise. There's so many things to consider when you are shifting into a healthier paradigm. And even if the changes are positive and wonderful, it can still cause stress to suddenly have to figure out what is right for you now and how you're going to do all of those things. So that's where I come in. I sit down and I help people sort through their priorities. I connect them with incredible people like Vickie and functional medicine doctors and therapists and psychiatrists if they need. And just I have a whole, expanse of healers and helpful people to connect with my clients, and then I help put together a plan, and then we work with that plan. Sometimes I like to actually have fewer things on, the agenda than more, because a lot of people are very excited about their new beginnings and bite off more than they can chew, especially if they don't have somebody like a coach there to reflect back and to, say, well, let's talk about the practicality of all of this, time, energy, and money. What do we really have here to work with? So I help, I'm very practical and logical, and I have a lot of great resources, and I'm very intuitive, and I've been there. I've overcome, substance abuse and the devastating effects of that, and clinical depression, bipolar 2, anxiety, all of these things. I've had to make radical shifts in my life in order to be where I am now. And it was through finding help and resources and being dedicated, and for many, many years. And what I like to say is my mission is to help people do in 5 years or less what took me 20. I didn't have somebody to kind of get reflection from, and to help hold me accountable, and to help find me resources. Honestly, a lot of that is half the battle too. There's just almost too much information in the world. There's too many choices. So you get flooded with them. And if you're like me, that's when you freeze. So it's nice to have somebody who can just kind of help, burden some of that work, so that you can do what's most beneficial for you without having to have that mental drain of putting together plans, etc. So that's what I do. If anybody who's watching this feels like that's a good fit, I do free 30-minute consultations, and my website is nikkiaiello.com. And I'm on Instagram, obviously, and Facebook and LinkedIn, and everything. All of the links for my stuff are in my bio, and then Vickie's link will be up there as well. So that's about me. And for example, one of my brand new clients just went to see Vickie yesterday. She's never had Reiki before, and she didn't really know what to expect. But I develop relationships with my clients that you develop an element of trust, and then they're just kind of willing. It's so nice to be able to let somebody else help you, make some decisions, find the right people. It's just so nice. You just feel so cared for when you can not have to do it all yourself. So anyway, she left yesterday, and I could tell she looked lighter. She looked emotional. But I could tell, I was like, I just love seeing the power of it.
Yes. And I want to add to that too. It's so important to have a network of support in addition to your friends and your tribe, and to reach out before you get really too far down.
Yeah.
Really important. So what Vickie does is really valuable in connecting people, and sending you in the direction that you really need to go, especially with her intuition for what would really serve you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the work you've done on me. I think it's time to get back in there to see you. Let me see if anybody's sending any questions. I turned off the commenting so that it wouldn't be in your face. Let's see here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to send them in. Vickie can talk to you about Reiki. She can talk to you about any of her moon circles, her counseling work. There's just so much. She's such a wonderful resource to all of us. Well, there's a few people on here, but nobody has sent in questions, and that's totally fine too. You can reach out to her directly. Vickie, are you going to, why don't you share more information about, do you have any specials going on right now? Do you have any tips that maybe you want to, some takeaways you want to send people with, as far as maybe two things? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but how to kind of keep yourself grounded and centered right now, maybe two of your favorite things, and then any Reiki specials you might have.
Okay. Well, definitely things have been super intense since the pandemic, obviously, and then all the domino effects of that for everybody. Even if they don't have COVID, or they know somebody who has it, or somebody in their family has it, or they've lost their job, or they've lost their place where they live. So people are needing a lot of help, and we really want to try to use healthy coping mechanisms. And sometimes it's really easy to fall back into old patterns and old ways of coping when it's super intense like it has been. So it's good, again, to have a network of holistic, helpful, caring, nurturing people to reach out to. So I would encourage everyone, if they haven't had an energy session, to try that. There's a lot of alternative healing methods, and then you can find what really resonates with you and helps you to feel better and to stay on that healing journey and continue to do the work. So my specials are, right now I have a winter wellness package, and that is 3 90-minute sessions for $300, which is a $90 savings. And also the price is discounted. Anyone that does my Dance with the Divine Feminine program, also that includes discounts for doing the program. And I have a gift card special for those of you that are shopping at this time. And that is, buy a gift card, you buy a 90-minute session for $100, and then you receive one also at that same price for yourself. Those are my specials right now. And then with the holidays, the winter holidays coming up, there's a lot of triggers for people. And I think I'm going to also do an online class about that, and to try to help people how to cope, how not to get triggered, how not to get back, if you're back with your family, and get back into that same old sibling role or whatever it is that has that emotional trigger for you. So how we can try to avoid that and stay healthy. Then the stress of the holidays is on top of everything else. So I do a class on that too.
All right. Well, you better get on that one.
I know it.
Yeah. You don't have too many. Only a few weeks before Christmas, even though things are different. But people will be spending time together in some capacity, even if it's virtual. So, well, those are all pretty fantastic deals. I love that winter 3-pack for sure.
Wellness, yes.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I recommend, absolutely. I can personally tell you how powerful it is to work with Vickie. It's a real treat for yourself, even if you don't feel like you're going through something like that. Even if the word healing right now doesn't resonate with you, how about just pampering? Honestly, whatever works for you, something for yourself. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful experience. And nurture too. I mean, as the restrictions shift, up and down and all that, nurture is a really incredible place to visit, which is where she works, which is where I work out of. It's off of Federal and Spear if you're from Denver. And there's a ton of wellness practitioners in the building. You can get their information all over the place. There's a cafe there, great, incredible, nourishing food and drinks. So you can meet there, get some, meet some friends. There's even a salon. I just got my hair cut yesterday, in a barber shop, and also it's kind of like you could do everything there. It's just like such a beautiful place to spend some time. So that's where you can find us in person. And Moon Mosaic.
Mosaic Moon Reiki.
MosaicMoonReiki.com, Instagram, Facebook, and then I am NikkiAiello.com. What were you going to say?
MosaicMoonReiki.com. And I also have Nurture Bagaro to schedule through Nurture. They can schedule that way. And the gift cards are available on my website. And I think
Awesome.
that's in Instagram too.
Okay, great. Everybody, get yourself or a friend a gift card. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. And yeah, we'll be on the lookout for your crystal class, the grounding energy class, your holiday class, whatever that one's going to be
Coping with the holidays.
Yes. Coping with the holidays.
That's with perfect. Goddess Wisdom.
With Goddess Wisdom. And I have a SOS pandemic package going on right now too, which is 3 coaching sessions, and you get one 10-minute individualized recorded yoga video for yourself, whether it's breathing or movement or meditation. And so that one is $350. It's the SOS, you know, for anybody who feels like they're slipping down and they just need some, you know, some power packed work with me. And that's a $600 value. And again, I do my free 30-minute consultation. So you can reach out and talk to me about that first if you want to dive into that. So, well, that's it. We're going to end here and I will, oh, hey, I think there's a question. Oh, what crystals do you recommend during this time of COVID? Aisling Brown asks.
Ashling.
Ashling.
So, Smokey Quartz is a wonderful crystal that pulls out negative energy, any kind of pain, any emotion. You can hold 2 in your hands. And any, again, of the darker crystals that are grounding and protective. And so we're talking root chakra, anything red, sacral chakra, the oranges and the browns. And to stay in your power, and our solar plexus is always yellow. So citrine, orange or yellow calcite. And we can keep on going. So there's been a lot of grief and loss during COVID. So then we're getting into our heart chakra. So always green here.
You can never go wrong with green.
Never go wrong with green. Throat chakra, we're doing blue, sky blue, third eye, more indigo, and crown, the purples, amethyst. So what we're doing is connecting to the earth, we're grounding, and then we're opening our upper chakras to spirit. And so we're connected both ways.
So all of them would be
really
great.
All of them, depending on what's going on.
Right. But if you're really feeling like you need some extra grounding and maybe a sense of safety and security, red and orange.
And releasing.
And releasing.
And also, I recommend smudging to release too, and salt baths.
So do that often right now,
yes.
Probably.
Yes.
I'm going to do that today, as a matter of fact. I've got my little smudging, my sage over there. I've got some brand new bag of salt for an awesome salt bath. Now's the time, everybody.
Salt bath, yeah. And I'd like to say, too, the essential oils, the plant medicine.
Yeah.
That are grounding, like the root oils or the tree oils, are also very protective.
Which one, and which, oh, did you say tree?
Mm-hmm. Cedar is wonderful. It's also an anti-anxiety and helps with sleep. Cedar wood.
No wonder I like cedar so much. I have it in my little diffuser over there right now.
Yes.
But I always feel like I'm in a sauna, which is probably why I like saunas too, because they're cedar.
Because of the cedar, right. And then, you know, it, like cedar chest repels the insects.
Mm-hmm.
The animals will lay down by the cedar tree at night.
Mm-hmm.
They also understand that it has that effect, that soothing, calming, protective effect. So I recommend that for everybody.
Okay, everybody, cedar or any other woods, but cedar's a good one, and most people like that one for sure. And some smoky quartz is always a safe go-to.
Yes.
And smudging often, clear your energy because you're probably hanging on to stuff.
And salt baths to release it all.
And salt baths to release it all.
And if you can't take a bath, if you don't have a tub, you can just plug the drain when you take a shower and put some salt in there, and it'll pull it out of your feet.
I've been meaning to do that, just on days that I don't feel like taking a bath, just doing that while I'm in there.
That's right. Same effect.
Like 5 minutes, plenty of time to have that happen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, Vickie, well, thank you. That was super informative, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot from this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wonderful.
You're welcome. So we will be sharing this recording, send it to other people, anyone who you think could benefit from, you know, this knowledge and her work and my work, all of it. All right. You guys have a great day. Thanks, Vickie. I'll talk to you later.
Welcome. Be well.
Bye.